Right now, in the summer of 2026, a massive cultural shift is unfolding across the sporting world. The FIFA World Cup is taking over stadiums across North America, introducing millions of traditional sports fans to the global game on a scale never seen before. At the same time, the NFL is aggressively expanding its footprint, playing regular season games in Europe and South America, trying to export its unique brand of gridiron drama to a global audience. These two giants of the sporting world are officially colliding, but beneath the massive media rights deals, the corporate sponsorships, and the stadium spectacles lies a deeper, highly subjective debate that has divided sports fans for generations. Which sport is actually better? To answer this question fairly, we have to look past simple popularity or revenue numbers. Instead, we must examine the core mechanics of both games. This is not about declaring one sport objectively superior. It is about comparing two vastly different philosophies of entertainment, athleticism, and human culture. To find out which sport offers the ultimate viewing experience, we are breaking this debate down into 5 critical rounds: pacing, athleticism, tactical depth, accessibility, and fan culture. Round 1, the war against time. Let's start with the most common complaint leveled against both sports: how they manage the clock. If you ask a detractor of soccer why they dislike the sport, their answer is almost always the same: it is too slow and nothing happens. They point to 90 minutes of continuous play that can end in a scoreless tie as proof that the game lacks excitement. To a casual observer raised on high-scoring sports, the absence of frequent scoring can feel like a waste of time. But this perspective misses the very engine that drives soccer's drama: scarcity. Because goals are rare in soccer, every single offensive sequence carries immense weight. A single misplaced pass, a subtle defensive error, or a brilliant save can completely alter the outcome of a match. The tension in soccer is a continuous, slow-burn build-up. For 45 minutes at a time, the action never stops. There are no commercial breaks, and the viewer is forced to sit with the mounting suspense, knowing that a single moment of magic or tragedy can decide the game. Now consider the counter-argument against American football. Detractors love to point out a startling statistic. In a standard 3-hour NFL broadcast, the ball is actually in play for only about 11 minutes. The remaining 2 hours and 49 minutes are filled with huddles, pre-snap alignments, penalty walks, and of course, commercial breaks. How can a sport with only 11 minutes of actual action claim to be a superior product? The answer lies in how American football utilizes its downtime. Those empty spaces between the snaps are not dead time. They are the source of the sport's intense suspense. The 40-second play clock is essentially a ticking time bomb. During those seconds, a silent, high-stakes chess match is played out in full view of the audience. We watch the quarterback read the defensive alignment, call audibles, and try to identify a blitz. We watch the defense disguise their coverage. When the ball is finally snapped, the resultant action is so fast, violent, and tactically dense that it requires the viewer to catch their breath. The downtime exists to let the audience digest the sheer complexity of what just happened. In round 1, we see 2 different approaches to suspense. Soccer is a continuous, uninterrupted narrative. American football is a series of explosive, high-intensity chapters separated by cliffhangers. Round 2, the physical specimen. What does it take to compete at the highest level of these sports? The physical demands placed on these athletes are vastly different, representing 2 completely distinct visions of human capability. On the gridiron, the NFL athlete is a marvel of hyper-specialization. Because American football relies on distinct platoons for offense, defense, and special teams, players are engineered for highly specific tasks. You have 300-pound offensive linemen who possess the footwork of dancers and can sprint 40 yards in under 5 seconds. On the outside, you have wide receivers and cornerbacks who possess world-class track speed and vertical leaps, capable of surviving collisions that mimic the force of minor car crashes. The physical toll of American football is incredibly high. The sheer impact forces require players to have a full week of recovery between games, and the average NFL career is famously short, lasting just over 3 years. It is a sport of maximum physical extremity, pushing the boundaries of human power, speed, and impact resistance. Now look at the soccer pitch. A soccer player may not carry the raw bulk of an NFL linebacker, but their athletic demands require a staggering level of elite endurance
endurance and multi-directional coordination. During a standard 90-minute match, an elite midfielder will run between 7 and 9 miles. They do not just jog. This distance is covered in a series of continuous sprints, sharp changes of direction, and physical battles for the ball, all while maintaining a remarkably high heart rate. But the true athletic marvel of the soccer player is fine motor control under extreme fatigue. An NFL player gets to rest on the sideline while the defense is on the field. A soccer player must track back, defend, sprint forward to join the attack, and then, while gasping for air, execute a perfectly weighted 50-yard pass or control a ball dropping from the sky using only their instep. If American football is a showcase of explosive, specialized power, soccer is a masterclass in cardiovascular endurance, agility, and sustained skill under fatigue. One is a series of heavy-impact sprints. The other is a marathon played on a tightrope.
Round 3, the mind game. To the untrained eye, a sports play can look like a chaotic scramble of bodies, but at the professional level, both sports are deeply cerebral, guided by two opposing philosophies of strategy. American football is a game of absolute top-down control. It is arguably the most heavily coached sport in the world. Every single play in an NFL playbook, which can contain hundreds of pages of diagrams, is designed with military precision. 11 players must execute 11 distinct assignments in perfect synchronization. If a single offensive lineman misses his block by a fraction of a second, or if a receiver runs a route 2 yards too shallow, the entire play fails. The quarterback acts as a field general, receiving instructions from the coaching staff in his helmet headset and adjusting the strategy in real time at the line of scrimmage. It is a game of scripted perfection, where success is measured by a team's ability to execute a complex game plan under physical duress. In soccer, that level of coaching control is impossible. Once the referee blows the whistle to start the match, the manager's influence is severely limited. There are no timeouts, no huddles, and no direct communication headsets. Because of this, soccer is a sport of decentralized improvisation. The manager establishes a basic formation and tactical philosophy during the week, but once the game begins, the players must solve problems on their own. They must constantly read the shifting geometry of the field, recognize open space, and communicate non-verbally with their teammates. A playmaker in soccer is not executing a pre-planned script. They are analyzing a fluid, constantly changing environment and inventing creative solutions in real time. Where the NFL is like a highly choreographed, complex theatrical production, soccer is like a live jazz performance, relying on a basic structure, but ultimately driven by the spontaneous creativity of the performers.
Round 4, the accessibility paradox. How does a sport embed itself into the fabric of daily life? The answer often comes down to a simple logistical question. How easy is it for an ordinary person to play? This is where soccer holds a historic advantage. Its global dominance is largely built on its democratic simplicity. To play soccer, you do not need expensive facilities or specialized gear. You need a ball and you need space. If you do not have a real ball, a rolled-up bundle of socks or a plastic bottle will do. If you do not have a grass field, a paved street, a dirt patch, or a beach works perfectly. The rules are intuitive, and the barrier to entry is virtually zero. This simplicity makes soccer the people's game, a sport that belongs equally to a child in a favela in Rio and a student in a suburban London academy. American football, by contrast, faces a massive accessibility barrier. To play the sport safely, players require expensive protective gear, including helmets, shoulder pads, and specialized padding. The game requires a highly specific field with markings, structured refereeing to manage the complex rules, and a large roster of players to fill specialized positions. Because of these logistical and financial demands, American football is heavily reliant on wealthy institutional structures, primarily the American high school and college systems. Outside of North America, organizing a proper football game is incredibly difficult for the average community. Yet, this barrier creates an interesting paradox. Because American football is so exclusive and institutionalized, its developmental system is highly centralized. This allows the sport to package itself into a hyper-elite premium entertainment product. Soccer's accessibility makes it a universal language, a American football's complexity and exclusivity turn it into a highly sought-after spectacle. Round 5, the fan experience. Our final round looks at the stands. What does it actually feel like to be a fan of these sports, and how do the stadiums drive that emotion? An NFL game day is an immersive, all-day entertainment event. Hours before kickoff, stadium parking lots turn into massive festive communities centered around tailgating. Inside the stadium, the experience is designed to be a comfortable, high-energy spectacle. The gaps between plays are filled with booming stadium music, cheerleaders, massive high-definition screen replays, and fantasy football statistics. It's a highly optimized, family-friendly celebration of sport and consumer culture. A soccer match offers a very different, highly intense emotional experience. In many parts of the world, a soccer stadium is not a place where you go to be entertained. It's a place where you go to participate. There are no stadium DJs telling the crowd when to cheer or when to clap. Instead, the fans generate their own continuous atmosphere. For 90 minutes, thousands of supporters stand, chant, sing historic club anthems, and beat drums in unison. The passion is tribal, deeply historical, and often tied to local identity, social class, and family heritage. A victory can bring a city to a standstill, while a defeat can feel like a genuine tragedy. The verdict. We've looked at both sports through 5 distinct lenses: the calculated suspense of the gridiron versus the continuous flow of the pitch, the explosive power of the specialized athlete versus the relentless endurance of the all-around runner, the scripted perfection of the playbook versus the creative improvisation of the team, the premium spectacle versus the universal game, and the festive tailgate versus the passionate terrace. So, which sport is actually better? The honest answer depends entirely on what you value as a viewer. If you prefer a sport of unparalleled tactical complexity, where every play is a high-stakes chess match of strength and strategy, and where the physical limits of human power are pushed to their absolute maximum inside a highly polished entertainment package, then American football is the superior sport. But if you prefer a game of fluid, uninterrupted beauty, where the players are free to create, improvise, and express themselves, a game that belongs to the entire world and unites billions of people across every continent through raw, self-guided passion, then soccer remains the undisputed king of sports. Ultimately, both games are masterpieces of human competition, one representing the power of absolute structure and the other representing the beauty of absolute freedom.